Vow of the Disciple is not everyone's favourite raid, mainly because of the drawn-out entrance encounter and over-reliance on symbols. However, despite people's opinions, I think most can agree that it has some of the coolest bosses in the game, so let me teach you how to one-phase them. Now, I know I just said one-phase, but the term is a little more vague than usual in the Caretaker encounter because of how the encounter is structured. A better way of describing it for Caretaker is either a 1 floor or 2 floor, where you deplete his main health bar in either of those amounts. Now let me tell you, 1 floor in Caretaker is no easy feat. Reason being, you have to deplete pretty much his entire health bar in the 4 to 5 seconds you're given after you hit the health threshold. And fun fact, this has only been possible a handful of times. To name a few, there was pre-nerf shield bash, pre-nerf storm grenades, and when they were nerfed, it became impossible. But now that Banner of War exists, it is once again possible, but it's not exactly easy. Given how hard this is, and the fact that I haven't even done it myself, I won't be showcasing how to 1 floor today, perhaps in a separate video. But instead, I'll show you how to consistently 2 floor without fail and skip the 3rd floor entirely. Because Caretaker works on a plate system, the name of the game in this encounter is burst damage, and the best option here is none other than Grand Overture, so be sure to pre-charge your missiles before damage begins. Furthermore, class-wise, any Hunters should be on Celestial Nighthawk, any Warlocks on either Verity's Brow or Starfire Protocol, and Titans on Cuirass Thundercrash. Before I get into it, I also want to mention that Vow features quite a broken raid mod known as Into the Light that massively increases your grenade damage and regeneration rate, so if you have any spare armor, please use it. Damage-wise, you want to get him right on the edge of the threshold, and after a coordinated countdown, fire all of your missiles, which if done right should look something like this. Alternatively, if you want to add in even more damage, having multiple Warlocks in your team that are confident using Verity's Brow can be greatly beneficial, since with 2 Warlocks running it plus enough copies of Into the Light, you can effectively spam grenades. You only really need 2 Verity's Warlocks and the rest can use Starfire Protocol, and if done right, your damage should look something like this. Moving on to Rhulk, he is quite a lot more straightforward to one-phase than Caretaker, and a great weapon to use here is Sleeper Simulant. Before we get into the one-phase though, I want to recommend any players running the Rhulk encounter to learn a strategy known as tanking, which involves one person keeping Rhulk's aggro while the rest of the team can deal their damage from a safe distance without having to move at all. In order to tank, you must place a Well of Radiance next to Rhulk and stand not quite on top of him but at a near enough distance such that he keeps spamming his slash attack and hopefully never does his dash attack. Combining 5 sleepers with 1 divinity, 1 well, 1 tank, and as many damage supers as possible, you can easily cruise your way to a one-phase. Observe. Much like Caretaker, a well-optimized Verity's Brow setup can kill Rhulk at an astonishing speed, but for your average LFG, this isn't really required.
Guardian down.
If you're curious to know more though, I have an extensive mastery guide that contains everything you could possibly want to know about optimizing the whole raid in great detail, so feel free to check that out. Anyway, that's all for today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, dear viewer.